to return to the octagon. Now you've had a few moments to digest the performance you just put on. Where's your emotions at right now?
I feel great. It's been a long journey to get back to the win column. I went from 12-0 world champion at 25 years old and a 3-fight skid, you know what I mean? And that sometimes happens in life. You go through those growing periods, and that's what it was, a growing, learning period. I kept motivated, I kept driven. Just kept having to pick myself up from the ground zero and build myself back up mentally, physically, and emotionally. And my passion and love is here for the sport to stay, and that's it. I'm excited to be back.
Absolutely. We could see that change in you. You started fast but patient. It looked like, all the things you told us this fight week were put to play there. But then the finish, right on the buzzer, you took that big dip. Talk us through what's going through your mind, because your eyes didn't deviate from Rafael at that point.
Yeah, I felt great. All week, Coach Mark and my other coaches were saying, hey, the inside shots, that's a lot of your knockouts come from the inside shots. So, roll dip, and that's what we worked on all camp. Just getting back to myself, not being in front of someone. I got the speed, I got the power, I got the vision. Don't let these guys. I don't need to stand in front of these guys and brawl and put on a show. I can pick them apart just like that. I stayed calm. I waited for a sunsal to open up. I was doing level changes, doing what I needed to do in our game plan with my coaches to get that victory. And it feels so good to just be so in sync with the coaches and to finally get that victory over a tough adversary.
Having had all this time off now, have you thought about how soon you'd like to get back in there?
I heard that they're going to Fight Island, and there's only one name that I want to fight in Fight Island. That's Peter Yan. So Dana, I'm healthy, I'm ready. I want this strap back. I want this world championship back. It's vacant for a reason, and that's my destiny to get it back. So I'll go through whoever they need me to go through, but it's inevitable that it's mine.
So do you feel you're going to need to fight a fight or two more with obviously Aldo and Yan lined up, and then Aljamain possibly guaranteed that next shot? Is it maybe 1-2 more fights? What do you think?
Let's do a tournament. Let's do a bantamweight tournament. Let's get us in there. Let's go to Fight Island for a few months. Go get quarantined out there and just bring our coaches, bring enough trifecta food to eat. A little plug right there. But and let's go to war. Let's get this battle. Let's get this tournament, and let's see who the real champion is. Let's go back to the old school days.
And last question from me, with having Mark Henry there as well as your Team Alpha Male team, what felt different about tonight in terms of the coaching combination that you had?
You know what? I'm so thankful and so blessed to have those men in my corner, Chris Holdsworth, Mike Malott, and Coach Mark Henry for tonight. As far as my training partners and coaches in Jersey and in Sacramento, it's been a long time, coming, and they've stuck with me. They believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself or didn't have the hunger that you needed to. In this sport, you have to be hungry. You have to be a killer. You have to keep it on. You got poor kids coming from up all over the world to have a dream to lace these UFC gloves on. And I got back to the smallest points of things, getting free Reebok gear, getting picked up from the hotel, the smallest things you don't really think about. Like, I was so excited to be here, fight week. I know I didn't get to see my family, my son. I was missing my son. Obviously, we're going through a global pandemic, but the focus was there, the passion's there, and having those guys in my corner through it all has been amazing. Just very thankful for them, the sacrifices they put in, time away from their family, time away from what they love to do, to spend a week in Renaissance Inn, quarantine, getting COVID tests shoved down their throats. You know what I mean? Like, hey, those guys I would love to have in my foxhole every single time I go to war.
Sounds like it was worth it. Great to have you back.
Thanks, Caroline.
Cody, you said all the right things along the way, man, and you were always professional. But during this stretch, was there ever a time that even you started to doubt yourself and think, maybe I'm not that guy anymore?
That's one thing that I was blessed with, man. I never doubted myself. I didn't have that fire. I didn't have that hunger to go in there every day and I felt like I was just clocking in. It was a job. Fighting was, when I had nothing, I had fighting. I always had fighting. Even when I was trying to be away from fighting, run away, crawl away, I always got sucked back into fighting. And this is my true destiny, is to be the best fighter. This is what God has blessed me with, the abilities, the speed, the power, the never giving up. There's so many people in this life that get knocked down and they stay down and they don't get up. I was freaking on top of the world. I was 25 years old, world champion, dethroned one of the greatest bantamweights in the world from a 3-fight skid. You know how hard that was to get up and do that. You know what I mean? But I have people that watch me. I have people that look up to me. I have a son that I want to show that the work ethic, and no matter times you fail at life, you got to learn and grow and just pick yourself up and keep marching forward. So I want everyone to just be motivated by what I was able to do, and just, and that's what I hope to do for the rest of my career. Is no matter how many times I win or lose or how many titles I win, but at the end of the day, man, I just never give up. No matter what you're going through in life, it's a hard world. It's not a fair world, and it's a crazy world we live in. You just got to keep a goal, keep driven, and keep your desire to be the best.
We saw a little bit of the showboating that we've come to love from you. Was there a moment in there where you felt comfortable and said, okay, I can have a little fun in here?
Yeah, man, I just love to fight, and when I'm on like that, I like to have a little bit of, showmanship. But inside, we had a couple conversations inside there. He kept throwing that wheel kick, and I was like, man, that's like the 4th time you threw that, bro. Like, he's like, I'm gonna keep throwing it. And I'm like, all right, I'll keep dodging that shit. Hopefully, it don't get me with one. But hit him a couple times hard. I knew he was hurt, and I was like, oh, that one hurt him. I yelled at the coach. He's like, oh, he's hurt. Like, let me just slow it down a little bit, And he chatted back, oh, it's going to take more than that. I'm like, all right, he's game. He's a game dude, you know what I mean? And it shows for a reason. He's been here since the WEC days. He's been top 5 for however long, decades. And he's a hard dude to finish. Hasn't been knocked out in, 10 years, So I'm happy with my performance, and just excited to just keep it building from there.
Last thing for me, settle the debate. Who had the better one-punch KO tonight? Was it you or Sean O'Malley?
Bro, come on. Dana White, give me that 50K.
You got the 50K.
Hey, thank you, Dana. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cody, back here. Jim Griesheimer, cage side seat. Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations, but I want to ask you about a night that the bantamweight division shined maybe like never before. In one night, right? Former champ comes back with an emphatic statement. What are your thoughts on the state of the division right now? Where do you see yourself? And how long do you think before you're ready to take that shot and maybe put that gold back around your waist?
Man, I just watching the bantamweight get so much hype, and not even hype, but just recognition on the night. I'm just excited, man. There's going to be so many potential bouts that I can have, so many potential knockout performance bonuses that I'm going to get in my bank from all these guys. They come out and show up. I'm excited for the bantamweight division. It's the best division in the UFC. We have some killers. It's a shark tank. I mean, you got Dominic Cruz in there. You got Uriah Faber still, doing what he wants to do. I mean, you have so many guys that are. It's a shark tank division. You know what I mean? They're talented. They're fast. They're strong, and I'm just excited to get back to the top and get my title back and come one, come all.
How is it different, the feeling you have right now? And I've interviewed you a lot over the years as you were coming up, that hunger that you had. How is it different right now, trying to reclaim that spot from when you were trying to claim it to begin with?
Yeah, I knew, having a heart-to-heart with myself for the past few years, I knew I trailblazed the path and become a world champion. 25 years old. I fought everybody they put in front of me, knockout artists, undefeated killers in there. Whoever they had me fight, I ran through them. Outclassed Dominic Cruz in one of the best, title fights there was. And, I lost that hunger a little bit. I really lost that hunger. And I wasn't able to really manifest or, have visions or dreams. I was focused on, getting healthy and overcoming my injuries. And that was the hardest part, man. Injuries are such a sucky part of this sport, man. It really is. If I could, just say that, the injuries was a hard thing to overcome. It was harder than getting the world championship, but I battled through those. I kept strong. I did everything I needed to do. My coach, Michael Malott, he's like, bro, all camp, he's like, you're that fucking 23-year-old kid with a chip on his shoulder. Like, you just walk around with the confidence again. I was like, damn, man, and I kind of feel like that again. I'm 28 now. I got a child. And, I got some gray hairs in my beard. But I still feel like that young kid with that's hungry, and that's what you saw tonight. It's just a man with a dream and a fire that burns inside.
On Thursday, you talked to us about how you've worked through some demons, and we could see that because when you first came out, you were like super aggressive, always had to be angry and in your opponent's face. And ever since you've been a father, we've seen a different Cody. What else contributes to that besides the gray hairs and everything else?
I'll have a few gray hairs, but yeah, definitely. It was trying to be something I wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm a savage in there naturally. I'm a savage person. When I can flip the switch, I don't have to get myself pumped up to fight, you know, and that's what I was having to do. I was having to fake the funk. I had to fake the funk in there. You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck, I got to fight. Damn it. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to do that. And I just got back to the love. Just honestly, man, Chris Holdsworth is always, you know, he used to have it blasted all over his vision board and always would, you know, hashtag it, hard work pays off. And that's the simplest, truest statement you can have in this sport, in this life. Hard work will always pay off. So you just have to work, and keep working, and continue to work. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you got to pick yourself up and just keep clawing forward. You know, that's what I'm doing right now. Just back to the hard work. Let the coaches, you know, I got it on my own ways. Let the coaches kind of just take ropes and just go with them.
You mentioned post-fight that it's hard to look good against Rafael Assunção, and it is, but you did. Is the takeaway from this camp and from this fight going forward that if you just stay patient, that these results are going to be inevitable if you trust the process? Is that the new Cody?
Oh, yeah, Cody 2.0. You know what I mean? I like talking about myself in third person, but he's here. Cody 2.0 is here to stay. And we're just going to keep evolving and keep growing. And Lord willingly, I'll stay healthy and I'll just, you know, do what he asked me to do in this life and just keep getting these fights and, you know, doing the right things, you know, becoming a better fighter, a better human being. And that's, you know, throughout my whole life. But I'm just so thankful to have the guys that I have in my corner from East Coast to West Coast. And, I'm just excited and just super thankful to be here, to be able to speak with you guys. I mean, I never really took it for granted, but when you don't have the post-fight victories or the post-fight celebrations or the media, man, you go home to an empty hotel and you're banged up, you're bruised up, and you pick yourself up and kind of go from there. So it's been, since 2016, I was able to sit in front of you guys and really spill out my heart and passion and love for the sport that saved my life and saved so many and helped out me through so many dark times in my life. So I'm fortunate to be here and sit in front of your presence.
And one more for me, I want to talk about the finishing sequence. You talked about how that was part of the game plan. That was very evident because doing that duck like you did, it's actually kind of risky because if he comes up with a knee, that could be the end for you. But you mitigated the risk by setting that up throughout and making him bite on that feint. And once he did, how hard was it to stay patient and not pull the trigger on that haymaker until you saw the opportunity?
Yeah, it was Coach. He was kind of having a little battle with me in there. He's, you know, kept telling me to move, keep moving. Don't be brawling. And I kept hearing that, and I was like, oh shoot, I must be not moving. So keep with the feints. Malawa and Chris, all them guys were telling me to keep feinting. And I noticed early on in the first round, as I got my back towards the wall, that's when he kind of tried to press a little bit. And I knew when he would switch to southpaw, just the overhand left was coming. And so I dipped, let him feint to there, and I knew just to throw my head off, and his head was going to veer to my right, and it just landed flush. Wasn't worried about a knee. He doesn't really kick from southpaw, kicks from orthodox, so I had him pretty timed. You know what I mean? I was just waiting for the fight to present. I was wanting to do a little bit more stuff, but I'm happy with the victory, and he's a hard dude to look good against. I didn't get hit in there. I felt great. You know, I felt like I did the game plan, stuck to it, and just happy with the result. Thank you.
Cody, congrats on the win. Great job tonight. When you look at the division, who do you see as your main challenge? Who is the guy in the division you look to and say he is the guy?
It's the old Cody. That's it. It's me versus me always. If the old Cody comes back, fuck, he's a scary dude. You know what I mean? Cody 2.0 is here, and you know, I just got to keep bettering myself inside my profession, outside my profession, doing the right things in life, making the right decisions, and everything else falls into place. So I don't fear any man. I fear myself.
And when you look at it, if you're able to get the title back at some point this year, early next year,
Win, I do.
You got the specter of the guy you lost to, T.J. Dillashaw, coming back next year. Would that be a fight that you would want just because of what happened, the history between you, the fact you lost, not the personal history, but the two fights that you had? Would that mean something to you to be able to beat him in a third fight?
You know, we're talking about TJ, who's, you know, still suspended. He's not even there, but that's a fight I would like to get back. You know what I mean? We all knew what he was on. We all knew what he was doing. It took so many times, you know, for him to skate by USADA, you know, unfortunately. But, you know, he's serving his sentence. he's going to always have to live with that the rest of his life. You know, he has a child that he has, you know, eyes on him that knows that his dad was a cheater. You know, the whole world looked up to him, a lot of young kids. It's sad. I kind of feel bad for the guy. He has no confidence that he has to use those kind of aids to be a fighter. But we'll see. You know what I mean? I'm going to be at the World Championship. I'm going to be at the top. So if he works his way back up there, open doors. Let's get it.
And last one for me, do you see any of yourself in O'Malley, a cocky guy that, you know, he had the big knockout tonight and he seems to be on the fast track. When you look back to when you were that age, do you see any parallels there?
No parallels. I was 25 years a world champion. He's 25. I was 11-0 world champion. He has not fought anybody in the top 15. How many people did I fight in the top 15? Under 2 years in the UFC, I became a world champion. That's a fast track. I was fighting the best, am the best, will be the best. No comparison. But I will say I like his style. I like his little flashy hair. You know, it's cool for the division. So keep doing his thing. Keep getting those wins. We'll see you at the top, buddy.
Cody, you said you and everybody knew that Dillashaw was on EPO. Do you mean that knowing beforehand or just after the fact?
You know, I don't really want to get into that. Yeah, that's kind of ship has sailed. You know, I feel like that was a big burden. A lot of us, you know, you know, like the kid grew up in the Team Alpha Male Tutledge, you know, so it is what it is. You know, that's behind us. He's serving his sentence. You know what I mean, for his wrongdoings, knowing that he was doing it. Karma always comes to those who is doing bad things. So he got his karma. He's serving his sentence, and I'm here. I'm in the winner's circle. I have a big knockout. That's what we want to talk about.
Do you think the EPO is a problem in the division? And
man, I just wish USADA would, you know, be more testful. You know what I mean? Urine samples. We do urine samples, but are you doing blood? I haven't got a knock on my door for blood forever. You know what I mean? How do you detect EPO? You know, let's do more invasive. If we're going to go all in on this and we want to be a leading standard in, you know, natural athletes, you know, drug-free athletes, we're going to preach that. Let's do that. Let's have those come. I don't mind. Wake me up at 7 a.m., stick a needle in my arm, make me piss. Doesn't matter. If it makes it clean, I'll do it. But I don't know when the last time I had a phlebotomist come and jab a needle in my arm for USADA to test us. How easy is it to get over a drug test? I don't know. I don't need to cheat. Never will have to cheat. But if you're going to eliminate it, make it more strict, more invasive.
Cody, you mentioned that you fell out of love with the sport. Can you take me to the moment when you found the spark again?
It was leaving the comforts of my home, being in New Jersey, missing my son, leaving all my friends behind, gaining new friends. I'm so thankful for Coach Henry, Frankie Edgar, Eddie Alvarez, Ricardo Almeida, for them guys to let me go there, get out of my comfort zone to see if I really love this sport, if I could be away from my son, if I could be away from the comforts of my home, the comforts of my bed, to get myself out of bed when I'm beat down, sore, tired, and just to the grind. Then I knew that I still have the passion and the hunger to do this in the sport, for allowing me to come back and forth, both teams, you know what I mean, to get work with both guys, East Coast to West Coast. That's really when I found the spark back. That's when I really knew that I had love for this sport, to go 3,000 miles away from my son, missing his, you know, sacrificing a lot. I know we sacrifice a lot in this sport, you know what I mean? I'm not up here to say a lot of people sacrifice a lot in life, but for me to sacrifice and know that that's what I needed to do to get the love back for it, to know that I really loved it, you know, to be away from my son. I was away from 2 months, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a father growing up, so I didn't want to miss out on anything. It was the hardest time of my life to do that, but, you know, it was great to be able to, you know, go work with Coach Henry, Coach Ricardo, come back, work with Malott, work with Holdsworth and the guys. So I'm just thankful, man. I'm just thankful that my passion is reignited, and that's when the spark flew, knowing that getting yourself up at 6 in the morning to go drive over to Coach Mark Henry's house and do 10 rounds of pad work, and then go to Ricardo's after a long week of, you know, training with new guys that are trying to kill you, and then you go back home and there's new guys that are still trying to kill you back home. So it's awesome, man. I'm just so happy that the passion's burning again.